and welcome to Backpacker Flip-Flops. I am your host, Joanne Hendrickson. This podcast is about my travels and experiences to different cities and countries around the world. Each episode will be around 10 to 15 minutes long. My goal is to help travelers see and engage in places in a whole new way. Please check out my website, backpackerflipflops.com, or follow me on Instagram at backpackerflipflops. Each month, this podcast will support a different charity or organization. For the month of March, for each subscriber and 5-star review received, I will be donating $1 to For the Kids. This program brings clothing, school supplies, and toys to the children in Manapa and Bacolod, Philippines. Some of these kids do not have running water, electricity, telephone, internet, and this is the first time for many that they've ever even had a toy. The kids are so grateful for everything that they get. You can learn more about For the Kids or make a donation to them by visiting their link on my website, backpackerflipflops.com/giving-back. On this episode, I'll be talking about eating in the sky lifted up by a crane in Dubai. I'd seen quite a few videos on Facebook about dinner in the sky, but they were always showing it taking place in Brussels. I didn't realize it's a bit of a chain restaurant group experience. From what I saw in the videos, dinner in the sky is for crazy people who are hoisted up in the air around a table in order to eat dinner. Like, how do these people have an appetite while they're up there? Weren't they scared? And what happens if you drop your fork? I thought these people were crazy. Actually, correction, I knew these people were crazy. And while I like to think of myself as brave, I am not brave enough to risk my life for one meal. Or so I thought. In December, I planned a last-minute trip to Dubai. And while in the UAE, dinner in the sky popped up as a suggested activity. None of my planning on this trip had prepared me for that moment when you have the chance to do something really crazy you've seen on social media and have thought, no way would I ever do that, and you're suddenly presented with the chance to do it, and the voice inside your head tells you if you don't do it, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering, what if? Well, that is, of course, given you survived the experience. I told myself to take a few days to think about it. I outweighed the pros and cons. Pro, while pricey, it wasn't as expensive as I thought. Con, I could die. Pro, what a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Con, I could die. Pro, imagine the views from there. Con, well, you get the picture. So yes, I researched about it and could not find any proof that anyone had ever died or even so much as had a heart attack while doing this. So I had to tell myself to stop letting this hypothetical fear be the only con holding me back. I picked the day I wanted to do it, which was my last day in Dubai. And then I headed over to their booking calendar. That's where I learned that dinner in the sky could actually be lunch in the sky or even tea in the sky. Because I had a 2 a.m. flight to Istanbul, I figured lunch was the best time to do it. And then I paused during the registration. Was I really going to do this? I told myself to give it a few hours. So what was that final nudge that got me to sign up? Well, during registration, I got far enough into the process to give them my email address. And a few hours later in my inbox, I received a discount code. So yes, I was willing to risk my life for a sale price on dinner. I panicked when I saw the first time in the afternoon was listed as almost sold out. So I booked it up and hoped for the best. And then came a sudden flash of nervousness when I saw that it was located at Skydive Dubai. This experience was close enough to skydiving? Oh boy. But I was booked, so I knew I had to show up. My nervous self got there 2 hours early, which gave me plenty of time to chicken out, but I thought it would calm me down. I walked around the grounds, hearing them call out the names of the next skydivers taking flight nearby. I walked behind dinner in the sky and saw the crane that was going to be holding me up. It didn't look like it would go that high, so I checked their website again. It goes up 45 to 50 meters, so that's around 147 to 164 feet. I'm a little shy of 6 feet tall, so this was like 25 me's going up in the sky. Okay, yes, it can go high. I figured about an hour before the start time I could head inside the building and check in. They recommended 15 minutes early, but I was a paranoid girl and I knew I just had to go in and commit. But first, I had one phone call I had to make. As they announced skydiver names in the background, I called my mom. It was around 3 a.m. back in New York. And it's not too often a daughter can call their mom and say they're at a skydiving place, and then swap it out with the news saying, just kidding, I'm here to have lunch. and not totally be lying. I don't think my sleepy mom had any idea what I said, but I told her I was and did the classic, "It's not that bad." So I went inside the building. To get in, you actually walk down a red carpet and head into the chic building with music that's just a tad too loud, white couches, and huge windows looking out over a longer red carpet headed to the table that would be taking me up into the sky. I checked in, grabbed a drink, sat down, and tried to take in the ambiance. I wanted to remember every detail and took a ton of selfies with my Dinner in the Sky passport, which had listed the meal options I had pre-chosen when I bought my ticket. The table was able to hold 22 people at one time. A half hour before takeoff, no one else was there. 15 minutes, and still no one else was there. 10 minutes, and I'm starting to get really worried I'm going to be going up all by myself, and the crane is not going to be able to balance the weight, and I'm going to fall down. All my fears came rushing back. And that's when in walked a mother and her daughter. They were both from the United States, and the daughter was around my age. We found out then it was just going to be the three of us. So I'm guessing the quote, "almost sold out" warning when I was buying my ticket was actually more of just a gimmick. The three of us were led down the red carpet to our table, and we were told we could sit anywhere. I instinctively went for the corner, immediately thinking this is where I could have the best angles to take some cool photos. When someone came by to strap me in, they said that was the scariest seat to be in. Uh-oh. But they had already started to strap me in, so I had no choice but to stay. The first thing you need to know about Dinner in the Sky is that you're strapped in and strapped in well. There are two different sets of straps that hold you in place. There's one that goes over your shoulders between your legs and another that goes around your waist. I felt more secure in that seat than I did on any roller coaster I'd ever been on. They did a safety presentation, and 3 individuals hopped inside the middle of the table. A waiter for me, a waiter for the other 2 ladies, and 1 person to help with our food preparation. And then came the countdown. Instantly, the vibe changed, and I felt like I was in a nightclub with music playing, and the waiter snapped into their role, immediately serving our drinks. We were up, and I realized I felt pretty secure. That's when I noticed my feet were on a platform and not dangling over the side, which made me feel a lot more secure. I looked out and saw the wonderful view of the city, and wow, was it amazing. And then I looked down. Oh my God, was it a far way down. I found myself instinctively grabbing to the side of the table, which looking back I know was pretty silly because there was no way my left wrist was going to hold me up should I fall. I focused back on the waiter who had taken my passport with my meal selections and was now preparing my lunch. The meal in the sky is actually 3 meals. The appetizer was a choice of burrata salad or a Middle Eastern set. The main course was a choice of Oriental beef, sea bass, chicken, or pasta, and the dessert was chocolate fudge cake with ice cream or a fruit salad. For the appetizer, I had chosen the burrata salad. I had never before or after this experience probably will ever think of burrata as something difficult to cut. But let me tell you, when you have one hand holding onto the side of the table uselessly and you're trying to cut anything on a table that just doesn't feel 100% secure, I had no idea how to use a fork and knife anymore. At the same time, my waiter was offering to take my photos, and I thought he was nuts. He expected me to trust him with my phone to take pictures and not have it fall to the ground all the way down and shatter into a million pieces. Of course he did. He's an expert at this. Okay, I told myself, calm down, calm down. Focus on feeling like a celebrity with great music playing, amazing views of an incredible city, and your own personal waiter/photographer to document it all. I gave my camera to him, and the photos he took were amazing, but I'm definitely grabbing onto the side of the table in most of them. After I was done fighting with my burrata, I decided to brave taking photos with my non-gripping the table hand. I plugged my phone into a portable charger inside of my purse for a little extra security. I think that's when I really started to embrace the moment. The view was spectacular and the day was so clear, and I felt like I was doing something very elite, my own dining experience with no one else really around. I mean, there are places in the world with amazing views that you can eat, but few could top off the skyline of Dubai under these perfect conditions in what felt like my own private restaurant, since unlike real restaurants, this was very exclusive and secluded. I was quickly swept back to reality when the table started moving. I was not expecting that. It made its way towards the right, and that's when they said the table will move so we will get great 360-degree views. So this was normal, it wasn't the wind, and I wasn't dying. Instead now, I was able to watch people taking off to do skydiving. And that's when the waiter told me that he'd had people who had gone from skydiving over to dinner in the sky, and they said that dinner in the sky was scarier. So that's good news, I guess. Next came the main course. Oh, why did I order the beef? Why did I order the beef? This required use of both hands to cut, which meant I had to remove my hand from its death grip on the side of the table to try to cut my food. I felt like I was rocking back and forth trying to cut this meat. And as I'm doing this, I realized I didn't have my napkin in my lap and started trying to figure out how to put it down before finally deciding no one could see me up there and to stop fidgeting. My waiter offered to take more photos of me as well as a video. He told me I could lean back in the chair. Sure, the chair could lean back, but there was no way my body was going to let me lean back. He also said I could swivel around in the chair and lose the platform my feet were on. No way. I did find myself getting a little braver though, and then I started taking my own photos and holding on less to the side of the table. Throughout all this, the mother and daughter down the table from me too were having the same nervousness and laughing, and we all joked together. The waiter brought out signs we could hold and have our picture taken with, and I happily grabbed a sign that said chilling with the clouds and another that said I forgot my parachute. That's when I realized my grip on the side of the table had finally eased up as I went and grabbed for these signs. The waiter swapped my main course with my dessert, and finally I had some easy food to eat. The ice cream was the most delicious ice cream I had ever had. It was nitrogen ice cream, which means they use liquid nitrogen to flash freeze the ice cream, which makes it smoother and fresher and also able to handle being up in the sky for a long time waiting to be served. It came with these shiny blue sprinkles that reminded me so much of the gorgeous blue sky right in front of me. I ever so slightly twisted my chair with my feet still on the platform, and I took in the moment with all of my senses. Seeing the beautiful city and sky, the sounds of varied music, the taste of great food, the feeling of the air, and the touch of being safely and securely strapped into my seat. As an added surprise, it was one of the other girls at the table's birthday. I found myself singing happy birthday and celebrating with them, who were just a few seats away from me and total strangers just an hour before. Even though we did not know each other, doing this remarkable experience together bonded us, and I felt like a part of this girl's family celebration. And then the ride came to an end. We made our way down towards the ground, and this is where my fake bravery matched with real fear came in. As we slowly were moving to the ground, but I definitely started to fear us crashing. But the landing was extremely smooth, and someone helped unstrap me quickly. The music was gone, and the experience was over. And I questioned myself. Did I enjoy it? It took a few days for me to process what I did. Looking back, it was a blast, but for the next few hours after, the adrenaline was still rushing through me, and I still physically felt a bit uneasy, even while back on solid ground. As an added surprise, I became friends with the mother and daughter who sat down the table from me, whom during the experience I bonded with over the occasional laugh and singing happy birthday. The three of us stuck around and took photos of one another to commemorate our survival and watched as the next group of nervous diners made their way to the table. The mother and daughter and I decided to visit a mall in Dubai together. We swapped travel notes that afternoon, and it turned out our hotels were actually next to one another. When you do a crazy experience with someone who's a total stranger, there's an indescribable bond that is created. When I shared that this was what the episode was going to be about, I had a few people send in some questions. The first was, how long does the ride last? The ride is about 1 hour plus time for takeoff and landing. How is the food? Delicious, but it's so difficult to enjoy when you're feeling nervous. Like I knew I was tasting something good, but my mind didn't appreciate it the way it should have. The most commonly asked question, where is the bathroom? Well, it's actually back on ground level, so you need to go before you board. If there's an emergency, they can bring down the ride, but you're not able to rejoin the experience. And the most important question, would I do it again? Yes, but in a different city, and I would pick easier to cut food next time. On my next episode, I will be talking about camping outside of a church in rural Georgia in order to meet a U.S. president. Please subscribe to my podcast, Backpacker Flip Flops, wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star review and tell a friend. For every subscribe and 5-star review received this month, $1 will be donated to For the Kids, supporting donations for the kids in the Philippines. You can connect with me on my website, backpackerflipflops.com, or follow me on Instagram at backpackerflipflops. Thanks so much for listening. Till next time, ciao, adios, auf Wiedersehen, bye.